My name is Sriram Sullia. I host a joke for a radio show. I'm a podcaster. I dabble with comedy. I post tons of videos on the internet, and I am an MC. I host a whole lot of corporate shows, get to travel around the world hosting shows for companies, and it's a great gig. You know you have a great gig when people come up to you and say, shouldn't what you be doing considered a hobby? How much do you actually get paid? And what are you going to do 5 years from now? That's when you know that what you're doing is actually something that's on the edge, something that's alternative, which makes you feel great. So let me just take you on a small little journey of how I started out being a broadcaster. It all started when I first heard frequency modulation radio waves in Bangalore city for the very first time. And I remember listening to a guy called John Z. Kurian, and going, wow, what a fabulous gig this is. I can't believe somebody is getting paid to actually speak their mind, have fun, and just go back home. Can there be something like this? And that was the time when I was doing my commerce. I just finished my graduation. I was placed with a couple of companies, top financial institutions, but something that's coming to you so easily can never be respected. You have to strive something. You have to actually put your efforts for something. That's when you feel that, yes, I now rightfully deserve this. So that's when I decided I'll take up a couple of years of media studies. And that was pretty much what I'd call my decision, something that I definitely wanted to do. I don't know how many of you out here actually wanted to study engineering. but still, nonetheless, great to see you actually following your passion. And that's what I will be talking about here. And I will dabble about what the reality is, but what it looks like from the outside as well. So during my stint with this college, I ended up setting up a first-of-its-kind internet radio station, a campus radio station, and I posted a whole lot of content that was objectionable to the college. It was Christ College. But that's when I knew that what I'm doing can actually have a lot of impact, and the medium itself is so powerful that it can raise a whole lot of objections and people coming up to you and talking about what you have actually put up. At the same time, I approached a place where you can store a nuclear bomb and still nothing will happen because there is no radioactivity happening whatsoever. This place is called All India Radio. Good old All India Radio, where I walked in, they still hold written auditions. You have to give your voice test, and that's how you get actually selected to do a radio show. I was in college. I started hosting shows for All India Radio. It was a part-time gig. They used to pay me 300 rupees to do one show. It was great for fuel money. You go from your bike one place to another and come back, and you're broke all over again. But I would do anything just to be on air, just to have my voice heard across Bangalore city, at least for a few minutes. I joined as a content producer for a Kannada radio station. At the same time, I was also working as a traffic reporter, where I would sit with the Traffic Management Center, Bangalore City Police, and I would just give out traffic updates about the most obvious places where you find traffic in Bangalore. What else can there be? So I would do that for exactly 1 minute when my voice was heard on the radio, but I felt it was absolutely worth it. And when I was through with this gig, I got hired as an intern. From an intern, worked my way to being a producer. And one fine day, when an American host I was working with decided to leave town, they said, why don't you host the breakfast show? You seem to know a lot about the show, so why don't you just go ahead and start hosting the breakfast show? I was 21. I was hosting the breakfast show to what I looked up to the most. At the same time, I didn't even have conformed opinions on a lot of things. So it felt great. It felt great having so much of responsibility when you don't even know what it is that you're putting out, whatever it is that you're saying is actually impacting so many people at the same time. But the journey, though, has been from there to no looking back, because from one thing to another, you actually end up being a predominant voice in a city where radio is such a secondary medium, and it is even to this day. You guys are tuning into the radio. It's running in the background. You guys are doing whatever it is that you're doing, but my voice comes in just for a few minutes. And at that minute of time, am I able to make enough impact or no? That's where the deciding factor lies all over again. So in this journey, it's been absolutely fabulous, because when I was through with my All India Radio gig, I actually put up a whole lot of demos. I ended up putting and burning a lot of CDs. Do you guys know how to burn a CD? You still do? I thought we are way advanced now. But no, we used to burn CDs, and I would hand it over to a lot of programming directors just so that they give me an audition, just so that they hear what it sounds like, and I get an honest opinion on what this is going to be like. But the reality of the situation, though, is that this is such a revered gig that a whole lot of people want it. And I'm sure at one point of time in your life, you guys have heard somebody on the radio being extremely judgmental about the voice you've been hearing, or thought, I can easily do this. I had the extreme same bug, except I never let go of it. I wanted it so bad that I ended up pursuing a whole lot of programming directors. And when I finally got the gig, it wasn't easy after that as well, because that's when you've got what you always wanted. What now? Because you can actually get away by putting up a show, probably twice, probably thrice. But what if you have to do it consistently, and you have to do this as your livelihood? You have to do this every day. That's when the challenge lies. I've actually had days when my station head has walked up to me and said, Sriram, why do you sound so constipated? And I'm wondering, how does he know? But you get extreme, harsh criticisms, and you develop a thick skin to take it all. It's not just from people within the four walls of where you work, but you are a public voice. So everyone has an entitlement to pass on their judgment of whether you're good or bad, whether they should switch channels or not. Why should they subscribe to you on social media or not? And it's all fair. And that's what I love about this medium. I could be talking in Bangalore, but somebody in Delhi is getting offended about what I'm saying because I'm cracking a joke. Makes all the more fun, makes it all the more enticing at the same time. And it puts you on the edge every little time you are live on the air doing something or another. So over these years, there have been times when I've gotten to meet a whole lot of business leaders, people who own multi-billion-dollar industries, because my job requires me to interact with them on a daily. At the same time, you're standing on the same pedestal and a stage as a Shah Rukh Khan. And one thing I've noticed is everyone's a person. We are all just people. But some people end up striving a little more for what they're passionate about. And I guess that is a big differentiator from one individual to another. If you have a passion, you definitely need to aim for it. And I've seen a big generation gap that's happening right now, where parents are totally okay with you guys getting a gig of your choice. They're totally okay with you pursuing whatever it is that you love doing. But finding that niche, however, can take time, and it is subjective. But don't ever stop doing it. As a radio personality who talks to you on a daily, I speak to strangers. I thoroughly advocate you speak to strangers as well. Greet people, talk to people with a smile wherever possible, because that could take you a very, very long way. And always have a very, very positive approach to whatever it is that you're doing, because it could definitely take you a long way. It's now proved that happiness is just a state of mind, but how do you make it happen constantly? It could actually happen if you are upbeat about whatever little things that you are doing makes you feel excited as a kid, and you go pursue it and achieve it in all of the flow and all of the admiration that you have for whatever it is that you're doing. That's all the time I'm going to take from you guys, but thanks so very much, guys. Really appreciate your time once again.